The Prophet's life in brief. Birth and rearing. Muhammad was born in Mecca on Rabi'ul 12, 570 CE. His father died before his birth. The infant Muhammad was handed to a Bedouin wet nurse to be brought up by her in the healthy atmosphere of the desert. At the age of 5, Muhammad returned to the care of his mother, Amina bint Wahb, but she died a year later. Muhammad then went to his paternal grandfather, al-Muttalib. He died when Muhammad was 8, and the boy was then brought up by his uncle Abu Talib. At the age of 12, he accompanied his uncle in a merchant's caravan to Syria. As a young man, Muhammad was content to work as a shepherd, but his uncle Abu Talib desired something better for him and obtained him employment with a rich widow, Khadija bint Khuwaylid ibn Asad. Thus Muhammad found himself at the age of 25 in charge of a caravan conveying merchandise to Syria. On his return, Khadija was so pleased with his successful management of her business and was so attracted by his noble character that she sent her sister to offer the young man Khadija's hand. Muhammad had felt drawn to Khadija, and so matters were soon arranged. Their 26 years of married life were singularly happy. Muhammad continued to work as a merchant. His fairness further enhanced his reputation as al-Amin, the trustworthy.
He continued to take an ever-increasing interest in public affairs and to exert himself in the service of the poor, the helpless, and the weak.
Whenever the iniquities of his people oppressed him, Muhammad retired to the solitude of a cave in Mount Hira outside Mecca. There his soul tried to peer into the mysteries of creation, of life and death, of good and evil, to find order out of chaos.
Solitude became a passion with him, and every year he would retire to the cave for the whole month of Ramadan to meditate. First revelation. It was on one of these occasions, when he was 40 years of age, that Muhammad received the call. One night, while lying absorbed in his thoughts in the solitude of the cave, Muhammad was commanded by a mighty voice to go forth and preach. Muhammad rose trembling and hastened home to seek rest and solace in Khadija's tender care, and she calmed and comforted him. She later consulted her kinsman, Waraqah ibn Nawfal. He declared that the heavenly message that had come to Moses had now come to Muhammad, and that he was chosen as a prophet of Allah. First converts. Khadija was the first to accept the truth of Islam. Muhammad then communicated his experience to his cousin Ali, his adopted son Zayd, and his intimate friend Abu Bakr. The Prophet began by preaching his mission secretly, first among his intimate friends, then among the members of his own tribe, and thereafter publicly in the city and suburbs. The Quraysh tribe were the guardians of the Kaaba, which was a source of great prestige and profit to their city, Mecca. They were, therefore, seriously alarmed and became actively hostile towards Muhammad. Hijra to Abyssinia. The fury of the people of Mecca knew no bounds. Muhammad was subjected to insults, to personal violence, and to the bitterest persecution, and his converts were most relentlessly oppressed, persecuted, and tortured. Therefore, in the 5th year of his mission, Muhammad advised them to leave the country and seek refuge from the persecution of the idolaters among the Christian people of Abyssinia. Muhammad and a few stalwart followers remained in Mecca and suffered untold misery and oppression, but still their number continued to increase. The boycott. The Quraysh outlawed Muhammad and asked his clan to forgo their right to avenge his blood. The proud clansmen refused to give up the right at the bidding of the people of Mecca, who thereupon boycotted them. After 3 years, the ban was lifted. A year later, Muhammad lost his uncle Abu Talib and his wife Khadija. The death of Abu Talib removed the last check on the Meccans' violence. persecution grew ever fiercer, and Muhammad sought refuge in the neighboring city of Taif, where he was met with great hostility and barely escaped with his life. Hijrah to Medina. Muhammad took counsel with his Meccan followers, and it was decided that they should immigrate to Medina. They left gradually and unobtrusively, Muhammad remaining to the last. Their departure was soon discovered by the Quraysh, who decided to slay Muhammad before he, too, escaped. They, therefore, cast lots and chose 40 men, one from each clan, who took a solemn vow to kill Muhammad. They were to strike simultaneously so that the murder could not be avenged on any one clan. But on the night they were to kill him, Muhammad left Mecca with Abu Bakr. Muhammad was now free to preach, and his followers increased rapidly. The Muslims could now worship freely and live according to the laws of Allah. But the people of Mecca were not going to allow Muhammad's movement to take root in Medina. They organized 3 great expeditions against the city, but all were beaten back. Treaty of Khudaibia. Eventually the Meccans and Muslims concluded the Treaty of Khudaibia to maintain peace and to observe neutrality in their conflicts with third parties. According to the treaty, the Muslims were to return to Medina that year without performing a pilgrimage, but they could come to do that the following year when the Quraysh would vacate the city for them for 3 days. Back in Mecca. It was not until I-8 that the Muslims were able to put an end to this war by gaining a bloodless victory over Mecca when the Meccans violated the terms of their treaty. The people of Mecca, who had relentlessly oppressed Muhammad and his followers for 21 years, expected dire vengeance, but in the hour of their defeat, they were treated with the greatest magnanimity. "Go, you are free," were the words with which Muhammad gave them general amnesty. The Prophet removed all the idols in and around the Kaaba, saying, "The truth has come and falsehood vanished." Al-Isra 81, and the Muslim call to prayer was heard in this ancient sanctuary. His death. In R10, Muhammad went to Mecca as a pilgrim, and he felt it was for the last time because the revelation he received there included the verse, "This day have I perfected your religion for you." Al-Maidah 3. On his return to Medina, he fell ill of a mortal fever. It lasted for 15 days, but he continued to lead the prayers until 3 days before his death, when he deputed Abu Bakr. At early dawn on the last day of his earthly life, Muhammad came out from his room beside the mosque and joined the public prayers, but later in the day he died. The end came peacefully, murmuring of pardon and the company of the righteous in paradise. The Prophet of Islam breathed his last, at the age of 63, on Rabi' Awwal 12, R11. After his death, his followers faithfully carried the message of Islam, and within 90 years, the light of Islam reached Spain, North Africa, the Caucasus, China, and India. Thank you for watching the video. Assalamu alaikum.